God says, be alert. Your toilet is unsafe inside. There is a peculiar menace lurking within, an invisible danger that threatens not just your health, but the very fabric of your existence. While this may sound like the opening line of a dystopian novel, it's a stark reality that many of us face every day: the peril of contaminated water. In a world where technological advancements have reached unprecedented heights, it seems inconceivable that something as basic as water sanitation could still pose a threat. Yet, here we are, facing a crisis that demands our immediate attention and action. The genesis of this crisis can be traced back to a myriad of factors, from inadequate infrastructure to lax regulatory oversight. But perhaps the most insidious culprit of all is complacency. We've grown accustomed to the convenience of modern plumbing systems, blissfully unaware of the dangers that lurk beneath the surface. Enter the humble toilet, a fixture so ubiquitous in our daily lives that we seldom give it a second thought. Yet, unbeknownst to many, it serves as a breeding ground for a host of pathogens and bacteria, ready to wreak havoc on our unsuspecting bodies. God says, be alert. Your toilet is unsafe inside, for within its porcelain confines lies a veritable smorgasbord of microbial delights. From the infamous E. coli to the lesser-known but equally insidious Legionella, these tiny organisms pose a significant threat to our health and well-being. But how, you may ask, does water become contaminated in the first place? The answer lies in the intricate labyrinth of pipes that snake their way through our homes and cities. Over time, these pipes can develop leaks and cracks, providing an entry point for contaminants to infiltrate our water supply. Moreover, stagnant water within these pipes provides the perfect breeding ground for bacteria, allowing them to multiply and thrive at alarming speed. Add to this the fact that many of us neglect to clean our toilets regularly, and you have a recipe for disaster waiting to happen. But the dangers of contaminated water extend far beyond the confines of our bathrooms. In recent years, outbreaks of waterborne illnesses have become increasingly common, with thousands falling victim to diseases such as cholera, typhoid, and giardiasis. The consequences of these outbreaks are not limited to physical health alone. They also take a heavy toll on our economy, with millions spent on healthcare costs and lost productivity. In developing countries, where access to clean water is scarce, the situation is even more dire, with entire communities living in constant fear of waterborne diseases. So, what can be done to address this looming crisis? The answer lies in a multifaceted approach that tackles the problem from all angles. First and foremost, we must invest in upgrading our aging infrastructure to ensure that our water supply remains clean and safe. This means replacing old, corroded pipes and implementing stricter regulations to prevent contamination. Secondly, we must educate the public about the importance of water hygiene and proper sanitation practices. This includes teaching people how to clean their toilets effectively and encouraging them to regularly inspect their plumbing for signs of damage. Thirdly, we must harness the power of technology to develop innovative solutions to combat water contamination. From advanced filtration systems to real-time monitoring devices, there is no shortage of tools at our disposal. But perhaps most importantly, we must cultivate a sense of collective responsibility for the health and well-being of our communities. By working together to address this crisis, we can ensure that future generations inherit a world where clean, safe water is a fundamental human right, rather than a luxury reserved for the privileged few. In the words of Mahatma Gandhi, "Be the change that you wish to see in the world." Let us heed these words and rise to the challenge of ensuring that every toilet is a safe haven, rather than a breeding ground for disease. The time to act is now, for the sake of our health, our prosperity, and our planet. As we embark on this journey to safeguard our water supply, it's essential to recognize that the task ahead will not be easy. It will require dedication, resources, and a collective commitment to overcome the myriad challenges that stand in our way. One of the most pressing challenges we face is the issue of funding. Replacing aging infrastructure and implementing new technologies requires significant financial investment, which can be a barrier for many communities, particularly those in developing countries. To address this challenge, governments and international organizations must prioritize water sanitation and allocate sufficient funds to support infrastructure upgrades and public education campaigns. Additionally, partnerships between the public and private sectors can help leverage resources and expertise to maximize impact. Another obstacle we must overcome is the lack of awareness surrounding water sanitation issues. Many people are unaware of the risks posed by contaminated water or simply take clean water for granted. To combat this, we must launch comprehensive public awareness campaigns that highlight the importance of proper sanitation practices and empower individuals to take action to protect their health and the health of their communities. Education will play a crucial role in this endeavor. By teaching children about the importance of clean water and proper hygiene from a young age, we can instill lifelong habits that will help prevent the spread of waterborne diseases. Furthermore, we must address the root causes of water contamination, including pollution and inadequate waste management practices. This will require coordinated efforts across multiple sectors, including industry, agriculture, and urban planning. By implementing sustainable practices and investing in pollution prevention measures, we can reduce the amount of harmful contaminants entering our waterways and protect both human health and the environment. In addition to addressing existing sources of contamination, we must also prepare for future challenges, including the potential impact of climate change on water quality. Rising temperatures and changing precipitation patterns can affect the distribution and availability of clean water, exacerbating existing challenges and creating new ones. To mitigate the effects of climate change on water sanitation, we must prioritize resilience and adaptation. This includes investing in climate-resilient infrastructure, developing drought-resistant water sources, and promoting water conservation measures. Furthermore, we must work to address the underlying drivers of climate change, including the burning of fossil fuels and deforestation. By transitioning to renewable energy sources and implementing sustainable land management practices, we can reduce our carbon footprint and help mitigate the impacts of climate change on water resources. Ultimately, ensuring access to clean, safe water for all is not just a matter of public health, but a fundamental human right. By working together to address the root causes of water contamination and investing in sustainable solutions, we can create a future where every person has access to the clean water they need to thrive. In the words of United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres, water is at the core of sustainable development and is critical for socioeconomic development, healthy ecosystems, and for human survival itself. Let us heed these words and redouble our efforts to protect and preserve this precious resource for generations to come. To continue our journey towards ensuring clean and safe water for all, we must also recognize the importance of global cooperation and solidarity. Water knows no boundaries, and the challenges we face are not confined to any single country or region. Therefore, it is imperative that we work together as a global community to address water sanitation issues on a larger scale. International cooperation can take many forms, from sharing best practices and technical expertise to providing financial assistance to countries in need. Organizations such as the United Nations, the World Health Organization, and non-governmental organizations play a vital role in facilitating collaboration and coordination among countries and stakeholders. Furthermore, we must prioritize the needs of vulnerable and marginalized communities, who are often disproportionately affected by water contamination. Indigenous peoples, rural populations, and urban slum dwellers are among the most at risk, facing barriers such as limited access to clean water and sanitation facilities, inadequate infrastructure, and discrimination.